I am Masa Richard, and I was asked by Pavel to do this lecture about art and video games, because primarily I'm a painter and a sculptor, and when I graduated on university, the Art Academy of Hungary, I started right away to do the games. The 15 years I'm in this business, I had a company, I worked as a freelancer, I worked in big companies, so, but I made living 15 years out of games. So it's not simple to make a company, but we did it a second time too, so I hope we will have success this time. As a freelancer, that was always a big success. I worked on several games, like I worked with Jane Jensen on Grey Matter, and did some big fish hits and stuff like that. But there was always this urge to make a game that's really unique, and now I have the chance to do it, so we will see. So the presentation is today about classical art, analogy for game development. Because, and the big question is our games art at all? So at the moment, this is very debatable, and unfortunately, I will not give you an answer on this session, but I will give you some thoughts and inspiration about, and you should decide. What is art? First, let's start in ancient Greece. Greek architect, sculptor, carpenter, blacksmith, they call that art. So it's a really different thinking back there. They have a different state of mind, and it changes through the history. But the poet was like a prophet or closer to God, because he was working with inspiration. So like a poem is actually an inspirational work. It has nothing to do with craftsman and skill. The architect, sculptor, carpenter, they are skilled people, so they were artists, so to say. In the 17th century, Peter Paul Rubens had a studio, and for example, there were students working with him. There are students who are good in drawing tigers, the other was like drawing portraits, and the last touch was like from the master sometimes. But there are, from his studio came out pictures, paintings that were completely done by other, like Peter van Dyck, who was later very famous also. So you see, in the 17th century, this was also like called art, but it's very similar to nowadays the movie making and game development. Yes, there's another question. Usually there are, in West Europe, there are academies for fine art and academies for applied art. So this is a very, very big question, what is art? Because applied art is something has to do with functionality. And fine art is sometimes simply for aesthetics. So it's also a very hard question. This is a sculpture from Umberto Eco, a futurist, and it's a prototype BMW. They are both gorgeous, I think, but you cannot separate them because it's a different class. But this is also art, so to say. Yeah, in the late 19th century, there was this movement of avant-garde, who they was like the first movement against convention. They tried to say art shouldn't be nice, it shouldn't be about only aesthetics and showing nice things, but about feelings and politics and stuff like that that brings emotions. So in that time, I think it was first clear that art is something that has to do with self-expression. and emotions. So I would put as a parallel for this debate is a game an art form, because I think now that we have established arts like a movie, theater, painting, architecture, and you name it, the video game is it's not still there. It's not globally accepted, but I think the video games have this thing that they can do that what the avant-garde did. So I think in few years, maybe longer or maybe shorter, they will be at the place where the movies are or the paintings are. So this is my personal opinion. Yes, to me, what is art? So I'm not sure, am I an artist? So that's not sure yet, because if I speak to another artist, he has some other features, what he thinks that art is. This is just a few. To me, making art is like having power and making something beautiful, even if it's, for example, an alien. It is for me beautiful. Self-expression, of course. Another thing, spiritual and intellectual evolution and growth. This is for me important. There are artists who don't want to find themselves in their art or use it as a therapy, but I like that. Creating an entity, a world that is capable of existing on its own. It's alive. So this is very important, that I would like to make an analogy to a painting, when I'm painting, and when it starts to live. Sometimes you kill the painting and you have to throw it away, but sometimes he starts to live and you can help him to be a finished entity. And the game is very similar. Yes, recognizing an artwork. Yeah, well, every school has its own opinion. My master was teaching us, when we were learning empty paintings, that empty paintings are not nothing on the canvas, but actually everything on the canvas, but not manifested yet. So it has to come out. For example, this is a painting of Mark Rothko, very famous painter. And yeah, you can say there is nothing on it, just a few colors. But actually, my master was pointing a very good analogy. He was saying, I was crossing the river, or the Balaton, the lake, many times a year, and I know what was there on the horizon. But one day there was a so big fog that you can see 1 meter before you. But when he was crossing, he was trying to see the horizon, but it was not there, but he knew that it is there. And this feeling of that, you have to paint. So it's very hard, I think. So Mark Rothko, I don't know what he was trying to paint here. Maybe it was not a conscious thing, because not always is a conscious thing. But if you have this bliss that you feel it and it is alive, then it is an artwork for you. Maybe for others not. It's my opinion. Yes. This is like stages of making art, stages of making games, like I do. I will show you that. I started a painting 2 weeks ago, just for this occasion, and tried to make it alive. We will see how I succeeded. But before that, I want to say this. Inspiration. Making a game or an art is always an inspiration. Yeah? I'm in a bad mood. I have some problems in my mind. I don't know what it is. I'm going to start a painting and try to start a conversation with myself through the painting. The inspiration for a game also, when I see a movie or I play a game or I just play with my son, it comes some bliss, a spark. Oh, this could be a game. Let's think about it. And then I have to play in my head, playing. When I see that it's something worth, then I say, I try to search a material for it. For a painting, yeah. For an inspiration, yes, I'm going to make a painting or a sculpture. Okay, a painting. Then what will be? Will be like a charcoal or a acrylic painting, and I decided for a game too. When I make a game, then I have to realize, okay, what will be the material of the game, because this is, I think, very important. Underconscious hook. When I play with a game, then there is always a color, a material, a sound, or something that follows you through the game, and the good games, I mean. And if you catch this material and it stays underconscious, that you don't really realize what is good about it, but you have it, then it's one of the things that can make a good game. For material, I chose acrylic. Sketching is the same as prototyping. I don't have to explain that. Painting, it's alive, so it's a harder thing. Okay, let me show you the stages of the self-portrait. You see, here is totally fucked up, and here is okay. It starts something, but my art is I don't want to make it totally realistic. I want to make more the feelings and the subconscious things what's coming out, and you can feel it on the painting later. Then I use geometry also, because it have to put you have to put it compositional things inside, and the strength and the following of the eye, how is the perceiver, how he's gonna look, and where are the focuses and stuff like that. This is like geometry. In the prototype, you are doing that. Yeah, of course, when you put inside, you try things. Okay, I throw that out. I put that back. I make a jump curve. For our game, I will explain later. Then the jump curve should be a little bit lower. Okay, this kind of jump curve should be thrown out, something like that. This is that stage, and it's still not alive. And this was very interesting. It was like out of my plans. The sun started to shine here and here and here through the window, and it gives very good forms, and I started to think about it. So I actually put it a little forms here and here and here. It's not so visible anymore. Maybe you can see. But it was a bliss. And after that, when I put colors on it, here it started to look at me. I looked back to me, actually. So this was the moment when I felt, okay, this will be alive. If I don't screw it up, maybe it will be a good painting. So, and I got colors, forms, and no, go back. Okay, this is. I haven't finished that yet because I couldn't succeed. I have to come here. But let's go back to, yeah. After that, when it's alive and you believe it and you work it out, you work many months on the painting and on the game. Then you have to create a consistent world in it. Then you have to frame it. When you have a frame, then it's totally different than without a frame. So you have to consistent world around, frame around a hero or a focus. And it is the same to me, framing and consistent world. And then comes the exhibition, publishing. Then you let it out to the world, and he's gonna live his own life, hopefully. Yeah, these are examples of my other self-portraits, because I make self-portraits and other stuff. As I said, I don't stay in a realistic thing, because I'm deconstructing myself in different ways, so it's like half abstract, half realistic deconstruction. I don't know. Never the artist never said any name for their how to say, futurism, surrealism, and stuff like that. There was always a critics and the people who don't make art, and they gave names. So I don't know what I'm making. I don't know the style of it. It's not important for an artist. Okay. Yes, it's alive. Could you, Pavel? This is a great movie from Mel Brooks. Frankenstein.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Okay, thank you. So this is the feeling when you get this moment that it's alive. So I'm going to show you a few games that I played. I like to play or just played a little bit, and I feel they are alive. There are many, many other games. These are the first that come to my mind 2 days ago. Okay, let's start with that. That was yesterday evening. Dennis, I've played for the first time with black, so I'm not so into this trendy things. But this is a great game. I don't have to talk about it because you know it. But that game is the simplest game that I played recently that is alive. So actually you have to draw these curves and you have to avoid black spots and to eliminate the color. So it's totally simple, it's genius. So I put last night this picture inside because this game is alive. Then let's say the Halo series. I like the Halo series because I like to play it with my son. It has a split screen co-op, it's very good. But the most valuable thing, according to me, is the vehicles and the physics. It never happens the same twice. So maybe it's a little bit unusual. I brought up games that are artistically not so put out that, wow, it's very artistic, because I don't think that the art has to be about graphics and story. To me, this being alive for art and for a game is something else when it lives on its own. It has its own life. Red Faction, I played hundreds of hours with this game. It's really cool. It has physics, it's open world, sandbox-like, mission-based. Graphics are not so good, but great game. Minority Report on Xbox One. It was a game that really used ragdolls really cool, on a cool way. You check it out. You know Star Wars, Force Unleashed, many physics stuff, Star Wars, Jedi Knight, Outcast. So these are the games that I just chose out that I was playing a lot because I have this feeling them to be alive. And these games are mostly, for me, I like the games that are physics-based somehow, because the physics is always, you use physics, and the whole game never happens two times the same thing. I named that guided randomity because, for example, you make a room, you put a ball, and you have a player who is kicking the ball. It will always happen something else. So it's actually guided, that it's locked in the room, but inside the room can happen anything. So this is this is very, very similar to the to that game. That it's locked inside, but inside you can draw anything and try any curve. And for the puzzles, it's not always only one solution. So, but Dennis will explain you later more about it. So guided randomity is very important. Okay, please that video, Pavel. This is was the prototype of our game that we will present here. We put this 2.5D world. We put a car because it's like a car shooting game, and put inside these crazy creatures that are actually they are enemies, but there was no health power and stuff like that. We just played around with physics. So they are just following me. There's nothing special about their AI. Following me, and yeah, there was a zombie Nazi killed there. And the other guy who is animated bug, it is all following me and attacking me, and always following me. So actually there is no complicated AI in these creatures, and still it feels alive to me because you can like in the sandbox, you can play around with them and have, yeah. Now this has to be tweaked. So when we started this, it was last August. Yeah, you start this video also. This is like it was in February, in this stage. graphics are much more improved, physics are also. Unfortunately, we have not unfortunately, fortunately, we have now, we do it in Unity. This was like Unity 4, we have put it in 5, so it's slightly different, a little bit more immersive, I think. We have it better now. So from this prototype, it grew to this, and you can try it at the moment. We have like an alpha version of it with nice graphics, but the gameplay is not so okay. Yeah, so this is the guy. Now he has a weapon on it. You can make it that he shoots also to you. So we have a lot of fun with that. Okay, let's back to the definition of art. Tim Schafer, one of my favorite game developers, he has a nice definition about art. He creatively expressing thoughts, emotions that are hard to or impossible to communicate through literal or verbal means. Yeah, that's art for him. I agree also. And he said they are not just art, they are the most revolutionary form of art mankind has ever known about. So I hope he's right. Yeah, okay. Now about our game. We started last August. In September, October, we had this prototype. We started like 3 guys. We saw it works. We have some European funds won before that. And with that, we hired people. Now we are 11 at the moment working on this game. But we are also a graphic outsource studio, so we have more employees. And sometimes jumping from this project to other projects. But we are strong in arts, I think, because this is very important to me. But also the part to be a game, to be alive, also very important. This game is Ironcraft Road to Hell. It's a alternative Second World War. With zombie Nazis, so we put everything what was in 80 pop culture and now trend, and we want to make it ironically Iron Sky or Kung Fury, the latest crazy stuff that's on the world. We like that, and we want to put it in the games. So we will have many Easter eggs spread around the whole game, and it's about wait a second. Okay, this is our hero at the moment. So he's a wait a second, I have a line for that, sorry, because I'm not good at pitching. Just a second. Where is our hero? Okay. Yeah, okay, the world. Mad Max, like post-apocalyptic world, isolated colonies on Earth, no one can be safe on the roads, and there are road traders to bring from one town to the other town, they are bringing goods, and one road trader is our hero. He's a mercenary, he's a smuggler, and he needs hard cash. So that's the plot. The story is actually crazy. There are many twists in it, and there are aliens too. So it's very complicated and fun. I hope it will be. Yeah, there's a feature list. Okay, crazy story, stunning graphics, phenomenal physics, RPG. This was from our PR manager wrote that. Looting, yes, you can loot. There's RPG elements, because they're very interesting, pretty deep system that you can trade, and you can level up, and you can unlock new elements and secret bases and stuff like that. So it's pretty deep. For our goal was to make a simple side-scroller car game into a deep, hardcore experience also. So you can play it through as a casual player also, but you can go deeper, literally deep under the ground to dig out secret stuff. Yeah, secret places, weapons, Easter egg parade. Yeah, there will be many Easter eggs. Yeah, let's see. There are some. Oh, it's moving. Cool. This is our garage. You can craft the car. So it's very important crafting system we have. You can change the suspensions, the wheels, the whole body and stuff like that. So it's pretty deep. So you can see you can make a pickup with armor stuff. These are our last screenshots made yesterday. So forest mountain level with zeppelins. This is like what I'm gonna talk about next. This is an iron sculpture made from me. It's him. I make the monsters as a concept art. I make them out of iron. I weld them with iron, and we put them into the game. And there are these guys who was in a prototype playing with me. So now they are much more dangerous. So this is like coming back and using art, like fine art, to say, and put directly into the game. These are UFOs, this is a big boss, caterpillar, and this is a chicken turned out to be upside down. So, yes, this is basically all. And maybe I wanted to say something, but maybe we should go to questions. Do I have time? Okay. I have.
So, if you have any questions? No one?
Okay, hi. Firstly, thanks for a passionate presentation. And my question is basically, so your argument stands as, do you feel like the games are underrated as an art form and in general, or are you arguing that the specific games can have qualities of fine art or higher?
No, not
art?
the qualities, but the games in general. Is a game an art work? So this is the question. Because there's no question, is there art in the games? Actually, it's under this question is it into the game, the concept art, is it fine art or applied art? So this is the harder question. So, okay.
Yeah, and okay, you just asked the question, so is it the fine art or is it the applied art?
I don't want to answer that because sometimes can be this and sometimes that. So have to be specific.
Okay, we can discuss
but
that.
I'm not sure. I don't want to answer these questions because I think it's impossible. It's personal, it's subjective to say what is art to me, you know.
Okay, thank you.
I thank you.
More questions?
Where can we get the game? Will you be doing some beta on Steam or something like that, where we can get it?
Yeah, it will be out on Steam. We hope in Q4 in October, and later we are planning to do it on mobile too, and consoles. Who knows? So the controllers are made for keyboard. We have a controller, Xbox controller. We have two types of controlling, and we have also made for touchscreen. So we are doing everything together, and this is the experience that I have, that you have to do on everything, and we will see. But first on Steam, because self-publishing is our first step. Next month I will go to bigger publishers to pitch it, to see what they say, and if they say exclusive or something, then it can change. But actually it's Steam.
Looks awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions? Well, I'd like to ask you, you said that you are deconstructing yourself in your portraits. So do you use elements of deconstructivism in your games as well?
Oh, good question. Actually, yes, because I am the tester who always make the game crash. So, actually, yes, in that sense. Good question. I will think about it. It is probably, but it's not consciously. Yeah. Good question.
Well, more questions? No. Well, thank you for your presentation, and
I'd like to thank you. This is awesome here, and thank you for Pavel. He's a great guy to make this all possible. Thank you.